it was very much on the page, and what is really awesome about coming back to do this again is we have so many people that were involved in the first movie coming back to do this sequel. So it's the same writer, Bill Dubuque, it's the same director, Gavin O'Connor, same DP, Seamus McGarvey. We had so many sort of, key elements to return, which I always feel like is a good sign, right? Sometimes it can be like handed off to a completely different.
Good morning, Dreamboat. Could we discuss business now?
Go.
Do you like puzzles, Mr. Wolf? Ray King has been murdered. I need your help to finish the job he started.
Well, how does this all connect?
Most brains see a pattern that's familiar. My brain doesn't work that way.
Jim, who is that lady in the background?
I always get that.
Just wondering that.
It's a conversation starter. It's Mandy Rose. She's a wrestler for WWE.
Oh, cool.
She signed it, so I had it personally signed. So it's like it adds personality to my backdrop.
Yeah. It looks like if like Anya Taylor-Joy was like shredded. And
I get Britney Spears a lot. That's what everyone thinks is Britney.
Yeah.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. Good to see you two have made up after that intense, fight in the house. So this is good.
All love here. It's all love.
Love that. Well, speaking of love, I am deeply passionate about this franchise. Just a kind of a fun story. I was on a date yesterday, and we go into my car, and I didn't realize, I hyped myself up with the Trial of Solomon Grundy from the first movie, the main theme. We turn on the car and that blasts. And she looks at me and she's like, "What the hell are you listening to?" So then I had to explain how, this is from The Accountant. The second one's coming out. I'm a big fan. It's this weekend in theaters and I'm interviewing the cast. I'm sure she thinks I'm a psycho at this point, but
you gotta have your own hype music, right? Your own hype music. I love that.
That's awesome.
It's exciting to talk to both of you. Cynthia, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, you've been there for the first one, but the second one feels so different. There's a different tone and vibe to the film, even with the same characters, but it's sort of like more of a buddy comedy action thriller, whereas the first one's more darker. At what point did you notice the change whether you got the script initially or spoke to Gavin that, this is going to be a different vibe to this movie and feel?
Yeah, it was very much on the page, and what is really awesome about coming back to do this again is we have so many people that were involved in the first movie coming back to do this sequel. So it's the same writer, Bill Dubuque, it's the same director, Gavin O'Connor, same DP, Seamus McGarvey. We had so many sort of, key elements to return, which I always feel like is a good sign, right? Sometimes it can be like handed off to a completely different people, and then it feels different. But I think with the sequel, the goal is, that first movie is like an origin story. It really kind of sets everything up. You're introduced to these characters. And to do a sequel, I think if we just did what we did the first time around, I think it would be fine. But I think it's like you're really challenging yourself to deliver something unexpected, deliver something that keeps the audience, on their toes a little bit and engaged. And I love that it's almost like, I wouldn't even call it a bait and switch, but I think even when the movie opens, maybe you have an expectation of what you think the sequel is going to deliver. And as it quickly unfolds, because the movie is just like moving, it's something unexpected. And it's actually really funny. It's actually really heartfelt. There are all these different notes that we're able to hit. And I think the length of time it's taken us, this, 8-9 year period, gave everybody time to really let it marinate and really, figure out, okay, let's get this right. Because you don't want to disappoint the Accountant fans, of which there are many, many. So I think we knocked it out of the park, personally.
100%. Daniella, you're the newbie here, but boy, you make an impact. I mean, just menacing and terrorizing everything. Was Gavin's pitch to your character like, you're basically the Terminator here and just destroying everything in sight?
Yeah, he in so many words did, but funny enough, he told me, she can't just be the T-1000. So yes, she's like maybe 99%, sociopath, but that 1% has gotta has got to come out at some point. And yeah, but it was fun. It's fun, like, playing the top of the food chain, even if she is a woman and she's not like a big man and all of these things. Like, if someone's smart enough, they'll figure out a way to murder you. And she's definitely in that vein of anti-heroes, bad guys.
Yeah, no question. The physicality too. You must have had some prep here for that too, because you literally were kicking ass all over the place. Tell me how much sort of buildup you had to just deliver on screen the way you did.
Well, Cynthia and I both, we have a pretty brutal fight
Yeah,
scene.
Cynthia too,
She and
for sure.
I, yeah, we our fight scene was, we were told very happily, we were told that the fight scene was at the end of the movie. So we had the duration of the film to work toward that very brutal, intense scene. So I trained in Muay Thai, so did Cynthia. All of it too is getting in shape. And the other thing that we had wonderful stunt doubles. And on the other end of things, it's one thing to play the baddie who's kind of like giving the beating, but also what they don't tell you is when you're the one at times receiving the hit, that is arguably more exhausting. You're being thrown onto the floor or thrown up against something. You have to wear pads. Like, you have to be able to like take the wind being knocked out of you. I mean, it's one thing to give it, but to receive it on film is arguably just as hard.
That's true. I feel like I got trained to get my ass kicked, basically. If there is such a thing. But I mean, we worked very hard, and we've talked about this quite a bit. And I think, to me, there's also the element of trust. Like, you really need to trust your partner. You need to trust the team around you. We had an incredible stunt team. And there are all these technical aspects to it, and yet it's really about these two characters and this confrontation. And so we don't want to spoil it, but I think for the audience, like, once you see the scene, you will understand. Like, you understand the stakes of the situation, and there's a whole story that unfolds beforehand to get us to that
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah.
Cynthia and Danielle, both of you, these two seem like brothers, John and Ben. I want to know what happened to like offset when cameras aren't rolling. Were they like this brotherly too? Because it certainly hits home for sure. Like, I believe these two would be related. But what sort of bond did these two build together? I'm so curious what either of you observed.
Well, I think for me, like, I think what's great about both of them is that they both are playing these very different characters. And as brothers, it's always a complicated dynamic, right? Because it's like you want the acknowledgement and the attention and the affection of your brother. And it's kind of there and unspoken, and yet it's almost like you need to hear the words, you need the affirmation. And so I think they just really were great at playing with the complication of this dynamic. And I felt like a lot of times, there was what was on the page and what was scripted, but that ability to sort of improvise, John throwing out an improv line, Ben responding, in real time. It was just great to see them. It's almost like watching, two musicians kind of just like jamming out, right? It's like you're
Mhm.
really trying to kind of feel things out in the moment. And I think, when we were all at work, it's like really about the focus of we're inhabiting these characters and taking these characters through the story and the situation. And now here we are on the press tour, and it's like we can kind of relax a little bit. And so now I think there's the opportunity to kind of like tell the stories and share the jokes and be relaxed. But I think there was very much, I would say, for all four of us, we're very focused because we need to like inhabit these characters who are quite different from ourselves, and again, like, get them through these scenes and get them through this story. So there's like the time to work, and then now I think is like the time to relax and to play. And yeah, the guys are great. They're hilarious together in the movie. I mean, they are, genuinely funny.
I love that. Uh, Daniela, what's your favorite thing about Cynthia? I mean, you two, kind of went at it on the screen, but I can see good chemistry here and friendship being bonded, being part of this family now. What's your favorite thing about Cynthia that you learned throughout this process?
Um, that's a great question. I mean, there are things I really like. I think that in like the best, kindest way, like Cynthia is so like kindly diplomatically practical in like
I
the
love
best
that.
in the
I'm such a
best way.
Capricorn.
Like, because like I'll be honest, like sometimes you do these movies and you get someone who's playing someone tortured and they think, oh, that means I have to be tortured in real life, or they're just like emotionally immature, or they're like trying to be an artist. And like, let me tell you, I've seen the gamut. And then it's so lovely when you're with someone who's like, oh, you're a professional and you're good at your job and you're a delight to be around and you're like very reasonable about all of this. Like, thank God. So and I think, we're both actors, but we're also both just like people at the end of the day. And so I feel like we just see eye to eye on a lot of things. And I will say, I mean, I think I got very lucky. It just makes even doing a fight scene, weirdly enough, when you know someone and trust someone and you have a good rapport with someone, it makes doing a very brutal fight scene so much easier and more fun. So yeah, I don't know. It's just I'll tell you this: if there were like two nations who were like about to nuke each other, like they should just bring Cynthia in to like talk everyone down. Like,
I don't want that responsibility.
High praise for you, Cynthia. You need to say something nice about Daniella too. After all that was
I
beautiful.
can't say enough good things, and I think it's true. It's like I think for both of us, like getting a chance to work with another actress who is of like mind, who is intelligent, who's funny, who is ready to work and like put in the work. You just appreciate it that much more once you realize, oh, I haven't had it as much as I wish I could have. So when you are enjoying that, I think it's nice to have found in Daniela like not just like a scene partner I can trust, but as a fellow actress when we're sort of navigating things around the industry or just in life in this world to talk to someone and feel like, oh, like we're having like a real conversation and you're a real person. And again, like we both have had our experiences and encounters. And so when you feel like, hey, you're real, like I see you, you see me, like this
You
is
can relax.
awesome. Yeah, it's nice. And I think we both have really been fortunate to get these two great characters to inhabit so that we can have this journey through this movie. And yeah, like I love it when you come away from a project and like basically get friends and people to like add to the mix, add to your life because this movie is obviously going to continue on, beyond the filming of it. So yeah, I'm excited to see maybe us a reteaming in the mix soon.
Love that. Like I said, love this franchise. You guys were great, and happy they brought it back. It took almost a decade, but let's hope it's much quicker for the next one.
Worth the
Me
wait.
too.
You can rock that soundtrack, bump those tunes unapologetically, no judgments.
There you
Great.
go. Thank you for the heads up on that one, and I'll keep on doing it. Lovely to talk to you both, and hope we do it again.
Wonderful
Thanks.
to meet you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.